This is a group which calls for the sterilization of transgender people abroad.
I was not aware of that.
Professor Barrett, on the financial disclosure report that you submitted to this committee, you listed two payments of $2,100 each from the Alliance Defending Freedom, or ADF. ADF, for those who are not familiar with it, is a far-right group that files cases and lobbies for policies that ADF characterizes as defending religious liberty. But when you actually take a look at ADF's work, it's clear that the group's real purpose is to advance an extreme version or vision of society. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups, describes ADF as a group that has, quote, supported the recriminalization of homosexuality in the United States and criminalization abroad. Criminalization of homosexuality. Has defended state-sanctioned sterilization of transgender people abroad. Has linked homosexuality to pedophilia and claims that a homosexual agenda will destroy Christianity and society. In addition to the lawsuits it files, ADF also runs a training program for law students and young attorneys who share its views. Professor Barrett, if my understanding is correct, the payments you received from ADF were connected to presentations you delivered at ADF's training seminars. Is that right?
Yes, I gave a 1-hour presentation on constitutional law.
Mm-hmm. And you delivered these presentations to law students participating in the Blackstone Legal Fellowship Program. Blackstone is an ADF program. Were you aware of that when you accepted their invitation to speak?
I actually wasn't aware until I received the honorarium and saw the ADF on the check, or maybe when I saw an email and saw the signature line. But yes, ADF is the organization that sponsors the Blackstone.
So you weren't aware of it?
When Senator Franken, I can't remember exactly when I became aware of it. I was aware of the Blackstone program for some time.
So you were not aware when you took the gig?
By the time I spoke, I was aware.
Is it your habit of accepting money from organizations without first learning what they do?
Senator, I'm invited to give a lot of talks as a law professor, and it is not, I don't know what all of ADF's policy positions are, and it has never been my practice to investigate all of the policy positions of a group that invites me to speak. If I were invited to speak by Pol Pot or by the KKK or a group like that, I would certainly decline the invitation. But I think it's a long way from...
Well, let me just tell you this, that Blackstone's affiliation with ADF is clearly stated on its website. This is a group which calls for the sterilization of transgender people abroad.
I was not aware of that.
People will feel passionately on either side about whether physiological males who identify as female should be permitted in bathrooms, especially where there are young girls present, and we've seen all these debates. Maybe things have changed so that we should change Title IX. Maybe, those arguing in favor of this kind of transgender bathroom access are right. That's a public policy debate to have. But it does seem to strain the text of the statute to say that Title IX demands it.
you know what the Southern Poverty Law Center is?
I'm generally aware that the Southern Poverty Law Center fights discrimination and that they do classify some groups as hate groups.
Yeah, they track hate groups. And you spoke at an event sponsored by one of those hate groups.
Senator,
Now, I question your judgment. The root word of judgment is judge.